You might be seeing King Kohli on your screens right now, but we are in a different king's place. Yes, I'm talking about the caricature king, Prasad Bhatt. We're going to find out about him and how he goes about his daily business of making caricatures for a living. Stay tuned for this. You certainly don't want to miss this. This man on your screen is Prasad Bhatt, otherwise known as Bengaluru's caricature king. Oscar Wilde once said, "A work of art is a unique result of unique temperament." And unique temperament often comes out from deep-rooted passion for a particular genre of art, as in the case of Prasad Bhatt, an engineering graduate who chose to start a design studio when IT jobs didn't seem to strike a chord with him. Gradually, the strong inclination towards design and artworks motivated him to launch his own venture. Currently, the store offers a wide range of caricatures, including celebrities like Johnny Depp, Snoop Lion, thematic caricatures inspired from movies such as Hangover, Godfather, Matrix, and James Bond as well. Don't forget there were others too, like Cristiano Ronaldo and Luis Suarez. The offered caricatures are a result of several weeks of study in behavioral aspects, expressions and body language, which goes an input to the character cognition of each artwork. Each artwork is crafted from scratch into an intricate vector illustration and is not just a hastily morphed image. The complete art range is being created and conceptualized by Bhatt, and creation of the other merchandise are also copyright products by the store. So we caught up with the man himself, first to see how he made the shift from engineering to become a caricature king, after which we put his skills to the test in sketching me from scratch. Listen in. Well, I have with me the caricature king himself, Prasad Bhatt, and it's an absolute pleasure to be talking to you. Thanks, Prasad. Now, first of all, let me just say that I'm stunned by your work. It's absolutely brilliant to be standing here where you draw your inspiration for such tremendous art. Tell me where it all started off, firstly.
Okay, I guess ever since I was a kid, I was very fascinated by faces, and every face is different.
Correct.
And each face comes with a personality, so it makes the face even more unique. So I think I started noticing that at home. Like I started noticing my dad, and my dad's. It's not just capturing how a person looks. It's also capturing the common expression. Correct. Each person has a common expression.
Right.
So I started noticing my dad, and my dad's common expression was he was tense all the time.
Correct.
He was always tense.
Right.
So his common expression was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And I found it hilarious, and I started drawing him. And after I finished the drawing, I showed it to him, and he laughed, and he loved it so much.
Correct.
And he would smile every time he looked at it. So I think now I realize that was the driving force.
Oh, right.
Yeah, the
That's
fact that I can make someone smile, just even for a few seconds, if he can make him forget worries, I think that was the driving force.
Fair enough. But before we get into that tale, it's also should be known that this man, who's an artist now, who makes a living out of it, was an engineer. Yes, he used to be one of those brainiacs who used to kill it in his walk of life, but also be a scribbler in class, and that's kind of where he developed his artistic nature. Yeah. So tell us a little tale about that.
Yeah, so I started drawing at class because I wasn't a bright student. I was dumb.
Yeah.
I'm still dumb,
To say the
but
least.
back then I was equally dumb. So I used to draw. That was my only way to gain attention, seek
Right.
attention from other people by becoming a class clown. So I was like,
Yeah.
hey, look at me. I
Yeah.
made this caricature.
Correct.
And the other students will look at it like, oh, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, you want to hang out with us? And I'll be like, yeah, of course. I
Yeah.
don't have any friends. Yes, let's hang out.
But so it was at least a connection point with other
Yes,
people.
icebreaker. It was like the icebreaker. I would make sketches and people would get impressed and they would like, okay, yeah.
Fair enough. Now, moving on and fast forward about 7 years later, he has this lovely brand, and also what they do is that they dish out absolute masterpieces. And when I say they, it's solely him, because he's the driving force behind this. Just take a look at some of his work, which is already there. You can see various personalities from around the world, from music to sport. It's really riveting to see how you can capture someone so well. And it's captivating this because it's a lovely thing to even keep around your house. Well, as you can just see, though, we're talking about the fact that he has such wonderful pieces of work and all themed around different movies, different TV shows, sport, for example, music. So it gives you a variety of taste, and what you can see is something which is really out of his passion, you could say that, because he used to just dish out faces at home, like he said. But having said that, these are taking it to a new level, and this, in fact, is making a living for him. So having said that, he can also personalize your own traits, and we'll come to that in due course of time, because it's fascinating to see how the artist himself gets down to business. Coming back to these paintings, you obviously are a keen observer of movies and TV shows, so it kind of rubs off in your profession, would you say?
In what way? Rubs off as
in terms of thinking of an idea or thinking of particular paintings or portraits you want to make. Like we saw the ones with Rajinikanth as well, with Amitabh Bachchan. Do you do those things because there's a particular news around him, or there?
Yes, of course. Like if it's the current topic, if right now there's something trending about Rajinikanth, like I think some movie of his released, which was, what was that movie that released recently?
Entiran.
Yeah, one of those movies released. So what I did was I got in touch with a comedian who knows Rajinikanth really well. I asked him which would be the best avatars
Correct, yes.
over the time that I need to make.
And
so I used to make I make these caricatures of celebrities in different times.
Correct.
And I make a GIF out of it.
Okay.
So it looks very interesting, where the expression is the same, whereas everything else is changing. They are changing depending on the movie, the character that they have played. So that's what I did with Leonardo DiCaprio, and I think that trended a lot.
Yeah.
It went on 9gag, it went on Europe,
Correct.
Entertainment Channel.
And it's great how the internet's such a delivery vehicle that it transports your work everywhere, right?
It was noticed by millions.
Right.
Like it went on Reddit and then it just exploded. Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if your work is exploded because it's truly phenomenal. Lastly, before we get down to certain business and that he carves my face and gives me a sketch out, should we just ask the artist what else is there in the future for him and what's in store? So what can we expect?
So this year I started experimenting with personalized caricatures. I didn't want to do it because I didn't know how to go about it. Because you can't capture a person's common expression just with pictures. But I'm trying to understand and studying faces. And like I said, I was the feeling that you get when you can make a person forget their worries and stress for even few seconds every time they see your work. I wanted everybody to experience that. When my dad saw my caricature, the look on his face is priceless.
Correct.
So I want people to experience that. So mostly my work involves surprises, where a couple is surprised by a couple caricature.
Correct.
So people come to me, they're like, make a caricature of these guys. They are my friends, and they're getting married. So I make the caricature, and the response is unbelievable. They call me and they're like, "Wow, this is." They invite me.
Something which stays with them forever, quite literally.
Yeah.
So it's a phenomenal response. Fair enough. Now, another last thing we want to slip into him is the fact that he's from Bengaluru and he's been taking the city by storm with his caricature works. Has there been any girl fans and following in terms of your artwork? Have there been extraordinary fans who've sent in messages or weird fans craving for your paintings?
Yeah, there have always been random people coming with random requests.
Correct.
And yeah, it is pretty bizarre. Like Instagram and Facebook, I keep getting messages.
Right.
And I don't get time to always interact with all of them because
Yeah.
I'm constantly working.
Correct.
But it's great. It's great that there are people who look up to me, who are inspired. That's amazing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's well summed up by the king himself, who has a heart, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake, because he does dish out these paintings for a living, but he also recreates that emotion of his father like he just told us. So stay tuned for more, because I'm going to get my caricature done. So after taking a picture of me on his smartphone, the process got underway. With my picture in place, Prasad used it as a template to help him sketch. And then the artist began his work. He starts off with getting the shape of the face right more than anything, and it's safe to say he gets it spot on. Prasad altogether takes a good half an hour to dish out the caricature. And the final piece pretty much looked identical. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's been half an hour, and this is what's turned out, yes? Can you see the clear-cut caricature of mine? I think it's pretty decent, we should say. We should give all the credit to the king here. Thanks again for doing this. I mean, it's been a privilege, because to see you do it with such quickness amazes me, with such absolute precision as well. Just shed a light on how you go about your normal stuff, like you did me quickly in half an hour, but other works require more time, you'd say?
Yeah, right now, because we don't have much time on us, I took about half an hour to make this.
Correct.
But if you give me a couple of more hours, a couple of more pictures, and if I spend more time with you, then I would get a better likeness.
Fair enough. And do you think my ears are that big? You must be joking.
No, it's just exaggeration. Actually, I didn't exaggerate at all.
Fair enough. Well, on that little note, I mean, the man is comical himself, but he's a caricature king indeed, and it's been a pleasure this afternoon to talk to him. Well, with that, with camera person Naveen, this is Avanish Hegde for News 9.